welcome to my channel, Mace's Life, where I'm terrible at managing money, but trying to get better. So with today's video, I wanted to switch it up from the vlogs that I've been posting. Sorry about that. I went on my 8-day long Thanksgiving vacation, then I had a work trip, and then the apartment that I live in, I don't live in the best neighborhood, kind of like Section 8 housing, kind of. And last spring, my heater was leaking gas, it was leaking something, and I was being charged for it. So instead of fixing it, they just turned it off. So I have not had gas for the past couple days. So it just got turned on, and it's been on for about an hour or two, which is just enough time for me to get warmed up because I could not film. I was so cold in my house. I was just filming the voiceovers cuddled up in like a little blanket. But today I want to do a quick little video, kind of like the 6 things you may or may not have known about me. If you watch my other videos, then you would have picked up on some of these things, but if not, then let's get started. So the first thing that you may know about me if you've seen my other videos, but I am a military brat, specifically an Army brat. Both my parents were in the military. My mom was enlisted and she got out when I was around 5th grade. And then my dad just retired last year. He did 37 odd years. It's because he was reservist. He was JROTC or something like that. So the years get kind of fuzzy. But he retired Lieutenant Colonel. And growing up, to me, it was very normal, but growing up, I moved around all the time. I've lived in North Carolina, South Korea, Virginia, Maryland, DC area. We moved around a couple times when we lived there. Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, we moved around a couple times there. And then Guam, Kansas, that's where I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan. If you see my other videos, I think I have something on my, oh, where is it? I suspect one of my cats have gotten to it, but I had like a little Kansas City Chiefs memorabilia behind me. I lived in El Paso, Texas. Then we moved to Fort Irwin, California. That's like Death Valley. Sorry, my cats. Where they go to train. And so while I was there, I previously in high school wanted to attend UT Austin, but I've always wanted to live in California, and the year prior I got denied an internship at UT Austin, so I figured, you know what, let me just stay in California. So I went to school at San Diego State University. That was my last video, talking about graduating and attending there for 5 years, and then I have now lived here in Northern California, in Sacramento, since 2020. But my parents, they've still moved several times since I flew the coop. They've been to Iowa, Georgia, but Savannah, Georgia, Norway, Kansas again, and now they're in Texas, which is where I went to go visit them. But just to wrap that all up, everyone always asks me, oh, how did you do it? How did you do it? Wasn't that crazy? Did you miss XYZ? Did you like it? And for me, that was normal. So I can't say how'd you do it? I mean, to me, that's normal. I don't know any other way besides that way. I didn't ever even think, oh, they just stay someplace. Oh, I wish I could do that. No, it was never really an option. Never really an idea. The kids around me were also moving around as bunch as well. So that was just my normal. All right, another thing about me, I've touched on this about, how I'm very good at talking to people, making friends. I have a lot of friends. Sometimes I have to weed out my friends simply because having friends can get expensive, and I'm in this multi-year debt payoff journey, and having one friend group that wants to go out to dinner this day and another friend group that wants to go to this event and next day, it gets really expensive. And so also because of that, not just because I was like, necessarily how expensive it is, but also, just traveling a bunch growing up. I do not like traveling with other people. If I had to travel, it would be by myself, doing what I want to do. And if I have to travel with someone else and I'm spending my money on things that I don't want to do, but because the group chose to do it, I'm gonna be so upset and I'm just gonna not enjoy myself. So I have several groups of friends where they travel all the time, and I'm always like, oh, I wish I could go, but at the same time I know that if I went, I would not be enjoying myself. So that's kind of like a weird quirk about me. Thing number 2 is I don't like traveling with other people, and also I don't like hosting parties for similar reasons. I don't want people at my house. Growing up, my parents hosted all the time. We traveled all the time, we hosted parties all the time, and now I don't want to do either one of those. I feel like either you did growing up, so now you like it, just like how with the first thing about me, I travel all the time, that was my normal. Now that I'm an adult, no, I don't like traveling with other people, I don't like hosting parties, I like to just keep to myself and do what I want to do at all times. I don't want to spend my money on doing the things I don't want to do. I also, like, I've noticed that very few of my friends know where I live. And even less than that have been to my actual house. Only one friend's come to my house, and that's because I've watched her daughter a few times, and she sometimes helps me clean my house, and that's it. Okay, another thing about me that you probably didn't know, I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but I do have a little sister. She's about 3.5 years younger than me. We do not talk. I have not talked to her in 6 years. Last October, for my dad's retirement party, was the first time that we've ever seen each other, and I think we said hi. I had to ask her where to put the retirement gifts at, and then I had to ask her where the sign up, like the, not sign up, but like we're taking family group photos, so I had to ask her where that was being taken at, but then she didn't even answer me. So we do not talk, we do not get along, we never really got along well as children either. Just completely different personalities. We stopped talking January of 2020 is when we stopped talking officially. But a little thing about her, she's Mormon, and she got baptized in February, and then March, on my birthday, she put a Facebook post that she had a dream that I was gonna burn in hell, and she put it on Facebook, and I have a bunch of aunts and uncles, and they were saying that, oh, don't worry, she'll come around, your sister will come around, and just give it some time. And it was like a cryptic post. It was about how she had a dream about how, because I didn't follow her, I was left alone to burn. And so I don't think that my aunts and uncles and my cousins and whatnot fully gripped it, maybe, and that's why they were saying that. A couple years later, I had several aunts, message me privately and say, oh, I had no idea, XYZ. And then the rest of the aunts and uncles I don't talk to either. Even the ones that did reach out to me, I don't talk to. I don't like family drama, so I just keep out, and I just have to live my life without it. I don't know how else to explain it, but that is just something that you may or may not know about me. We do not spend holidays together, so most holidays, actually, I do not go home. You saw me go home for Thanksgiving, but typically I don't ever go back home, and that's because she goes back home. And she probably needs that support more than I do. I have friends here that I spend my holidays with. So yeah, what was that, thing number 3? All right, thing number 4 that you may not know about me is that I like to go to church or listen to church or go to Bible study every single Sunday. There's very few times where I don't, either because I'm sick or I have to like listen to it later on in the day because of work, when I have my second job, or when I'm with my family. My parents, they don't go to church, but that is something that I try and do almost every single Sunday, is either go to or listen to church, and then also like try to go to Bible study. I have a really good Bible study group where I'm at, and yeah, I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very thankful for it. Growing up, we did not go to church, so I don't know what brought it on. I remember actually being in high school. You know, I would, even to this day, I just go to church in just like sweatpants, like leggings. Like, I have friends at the church that go in their pajama pants. And my mom would get so mad because I wouldn't wear makeup. I would just go with my hair in a bun, looking a hot mess. And she wouldn't let me go because she was like, I don't know if I embarrassed her or whatnot, but you know, we had to be in our Sunday best, and I was not in my Sunday best. So because of that, she just would not take me. And I was perfectly fine with it. Like, when I was a kid, I was like, I don't go to church. I'll sleep in. But now as an adult, I go to church or Bible study every single Sunday. All right, thing number 5. I'm doing a silly one. My favorite TV show is NCIS, the original. I've seen every single episode. It started in Kansas when I lived there. My dad, he was sort of kind of recovering from a bad motorcycle accident. I don't know the full details of it. My parents never told me, especially like when I was like, it was when I was a kid. I was in the 8th grade when I lived in Kansas, but his motorcycle accident was when I was in the 6th grade, and they kind of kept me sheltered from it. But it was some sort of hit and run where he was hit by a small like tank truck, and he was just left there. And the doctors didn't think he was going to make it, but he survived simply because he was overweight, and he saw it at the last minute, was able to brake, but the brakes on a motorcycle, I guess, are only in the front wheel, so he braked, but then he flew and hit the truck. He didn't hit it with a motorcycle, he hit it flying, something to that effect. I've never really asked. It was a traumatic time in my parents' life. But so that was in the summer after 6th grade, and then all of 7th grade, he was in a wheelchair with his mouth wired, recovering. Again, I also don't really know or remember that much either. We spent a lot of time like living with my neighbors during that time. And in 8th grade, my dad was mostly healed up, and then he was going to school to get his master's. He was getting like 2 masters at the same time, plus he was in the military. And that's when we started just binge watching NCIS, the original show. And to this day, it's still my favorite TV show. When I went back home this past Thanksgiving break, we binged watched the new season, all the episodes that they have out up until now, and then we'll stop watching it. And then the next time that we have a couple days off, we will binge watch a bunch of shows at the same time as well. And then we will also find another TV show to watch alongside it, so we're just not just watching NCIS. So the other ones in the past we've watched are 24, Blacklist, and now we're watching Landman. And it's usually just me and my dad. I don't think my sister or my mom really care to watch it. I mean, I know that they watch it, but I don't think that they watch it the same way that me and my dad watch it together. All right, and then my last thing 6, which you may have been able to pick up on watching these videos, but I have some sort of chronic breathing issues that I just don't have a proper diagnosis for. I can't breathe out of my mouth when I talk, so that's also why I slur my words a lot or mess up my words a lot. I can't breathe out of my nose when there's strong smells around, when there's smoke, whether it's cigarette smoke, weed smoke, campfire. I live in California, when there's bad fires in the air. If there's strong smells like perfume or Let's say like we're driving past a swamp or the I don't know, where do you call a place where they take everything down to the trash? The junkyard. I don't know what it is. But those types of things, I cannot breathe out my nose. The entire time when I talk to people, I can't breathe out of my nose. I have to breathe out my mouth. They're just switching over. I also, there was one time when I was prescribed that was my cat. Sorry. There was one time where I was prescribed these different nasal sprays that now my insurance doesn't cover. And I took those and I sounded completely different. So I guess this is also not how I truly sound, but I'm just always congested sounding. When I worked, because I worked as a tax collector, but I also worked different customer service jobs as well. Every so often I have like an older lady, they'll be like, oh, are you sick? You should try to eat some wasabi beans or some wasabi edamame beans. Or you should have this, you should take that or do this tea or something. And I'll be like, oh, thank you, but I'm not sick. And I've gone to doctor after doctor and they always prescribe me inhalers. And I am out of shape. So sometimes when I work out, I take an inhaler just to help. But breathing through my mouth and my lungs are perfectly fine. It's my nose. There's something in my nose, probably way back in there, I don't know exactly where, that I just can't, it blocks my breathing. I see a different specialist for it actually in September, but I was considering getting a surgery for it. My insurance will not cover it. I did see a surgeon in Dallas that I could possibly go see and, see if surgery will even fix it. But that's a $20,000 surgery. Saw another surgeon in Mexico, in Tijuana, who charges less than $6,000. And I've been tempted to do that. But both of those doctors, they're like cosmetic plastic surgeon doctors as well, because the surgery, if you don't go to a plastic surgeon, they'll leave 2 scars along the sides of your nose. And I don't want that. I want a closed nose surgery to fix whatever is going on with my breathing. I don't even know if it's sinuses, but my breathing. And that is not a scar that I want. So I feel as if I need to go to a plastic surgeon, and that will definitely not be covered by my insurance. So I've noticed that most of the surgeons that are plastic surgeons that will do the surgery that I may need, depending on what it is that's wrong with me, they give you a discount if you get a plastic surgery, and they post it on their Instagram. So I don't know, maybe next year I'll pop up with a new nose. I'll look different, but then I'll also sound different. Yep, but we'll see then. All right, so now you know a little bit more about me. That's 6 things that you may or may not have picked up on from my previous videos. But other than that, I just want to thank you all for following along with my journey, for watching all my videos. I know that they're not debt confession videos, not anymore. This is going to be more of me living my life with, just different financial implications along with it. That's why I mentioned at the end with my nose surgery, how that's going to greatly impact my financial journey depending on what I end up deciding to go through with. But yeah, I'd love to have you join this journey with me. So hit subscribe, click the like, leave a comment down below if you would like. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. So take care and thanks for watching. Bye.